good day everyone. So this is lecture vlog kasama ang inyong likod na si Sir Jade. So okay, let's discuss about the tourism impact assessment for the subject of ecotourism and of course for the subject of sustainable tourism. So are you ready? All right. So let's discuss about tourism impact assessment. Okay, so learning objectives, discuss the importance of tourism impact assessment, describe some considerations in tourism impact assessment, explain the different tools using in the tourism impact assessment. All right, so when I talk about tourism impact assessment, all right, so actually it is important, especially to assess the positive and negative impacts, especially in environment, culture, and economy in a specific or in a certain destination. So it forces planners and developers to pursue what could possibly go wrong and take precautions to prevent such unfortunate consequences from happening. So ito yung chine-check ng mga planners and developers for sustaining the destination by assessing the impacts, no, to pursue what could possibly go wrong and take precautions. Kumbaga, ma-check nila kung ano yung mga possible problems and they're going to solve it. Alright? So, and what will be the unfortunate consequence to mitigate or to minimize. Okay? Especially yung mga negative impacts, no? And also, it compels the parties involved in the tourism development to participate in a consultative process to iron out kinks prior to the actual implementation of a project. So it involves of the different parties such as the different tourism organization, or I mean the different stakeholders in a certain plan of, in the destination, no. So parties yun, like both public and private sectors, as well as the community and other stakeholders. So to have a consultation, no, consultation process for before the implementation of a project. So planners and developers will be able to identify actions could prevent or mitigate the impacts. So because of the tourism impact assessment, it is important to determine the different negative impacts, especially in environment, in socio-cultural and economical. So to prevent, no, to prevent that negative impact, and of course to sustain the positive impacts. And it is important before the implementation of the project para hindi po mag-fail yung plano. Okay, that's why it is important to assess first yung mga possible na pwedeng mangyari po, no, yung mga hindi pwedeng mga hindi magandang pangyayari, no, na pwedeng mangyari sa isang destination. So to prevent, no, or to mitigate the negative impacts. Okay, so that is the tourism impact assessment. So what to consider in tourism impact assessment? Okay, so for tourism impact assessment, it's all about assessing or monitoring and checking lahat ng nandoon po sa destination. Kumbaga, magkaroon ng magkaroon ng mapping, no? So yung tinatag na mapping, parang i-inventory mo lahat ng mga available resources ng destination para ma-check mo yung pinaka-problem to identify the problem. So ano to? Ano yung mga dapat kino-consider in tourism impact assessment? Of course, the constitution, no? If there's a constitution inside the destination or the constitution itself or existing laws doon po sa mismong lugar. Land use plans and spatial plans. So yung land use plan, so ito yung pinakaano lang talaga, hektarya na sakop po ng plano, yung sakop po na plano po, that is land use, no? Yung sakop po, yung mostly hektarya yun kasi lupa. So land use plan na gagamitin for tourism planning and spatial planning. And then of course zoning law, kumbaga zoning laws, ito yung laws for zoning regulations para po Kumbaga, hanggang saan lang po yung scope ng plano. Saan po yung limitation niya? That is zoning. Zones of tourism bodies also part. Regulations on tourism investment, tourism enterprise zone, and tourism enterprises, which is regulated by the Tourism Infrastructure Enterprise and Zone Authority or TSA. Okay? So yun yung number 4, no, regulations on tourism investments, tourism enterprises, and tourism enterprises, which is regulated by the TSA or Tourism Infrastructure and Enterprise Zone Authority. Okay, as well as the building code, yung various permits ng mga buildings or ng mga accommodation, and then standards for various types of structures, and then the business registration requirements. Okay, business registration requirements sa mga lahat ng mga private sectors na nakatayo or nag-exist doon sa destination. And then requirements for public consultation. So ito yung mga kino-consider in tourism impact assessment. Another one, these are the additional foreign equity laws, protected area laws, indigenous people's right including the rights to ancestral domains. Yung ancestral domains po, yung mga rights nila, yung mga old ancestor po, yung dominion, kailangan po may ano po dun, kasama po yun sa indigenous people's right. Gender and development provision, minimum wage laws, no? Yung minimum wage law kung ilan yung per day na kinikita po ng mga workers. So pwedeng per hour or sa mga mostly sa mga instructor, mga teacher, pero kapag sa mga ano po, yung sa labor, yung minimum wage law, per day yung magkano yung kinikita nila in 8 hours. Labor laws, environmental laws, this is important, Tourism Policy Act, critical habitat areas and buffer zones. So these are the ito yung mga yung mga sakop ng tourism impact assessment. Ito yung dapat kino-consider po. So actually, tourism impact assessment and its tools, pwede mo tong gamitin for theoretical framework if you're going to have a research or thesis na may kinalaman po sa sustainable tourism or sustainable tourism impacts or sustainable livelihood. So ito yung mga different tools na pwedeng gamitin as part of your theory para makabuo ka ng conceptual framework. So first one, meron po tinatag na triple bottom line approach. Pag sinabi mo triple bottom line approach, you're going to assess, no, the three major impacts of tourism such as the economic, social, and environmental impacts of tourism. So ito po yung kino-comprise po ng triple bottom line approach. For tourism carrying capacity assessment, kasi when you talk about carrying capacity is the maximum number of people who can use a site without an acceptable alteration and decline in the quality of experience gained by visitors. So that is carrying capacity. So this time you're going to analyze the carrying capacity of the destination, and it is used to identify and implement limits to the number of visitors to specific destinations or attractions. So kumbaga magkaroon po ng implement limits lang kung ilang visitors lang po ang pwede pong makabisita sa isang certain destination. That is tourism carrying capacity assessment or also known as carrying capacity analysis. Okay, next one. So, based on the types of carrying capacity assessment according to Landberg, so may tinatawag pong physical carrying capacity. So, ito, yung physical carrying capacity, it determines the level of physical impacts that are acceptable at destination. So, mostly mga tao, physical no? Yung level of physical impacts na acceptable ng destination, na kayang i-accommodate ng destination. That is physical carrying capacity. Perceptual carrying capacity, look at the situation from other tourist point of view. So you're going to check the point of view of the tourist, kamusta yung kanilang experience, kamusta yung quality ng destination. That is based on the point of view of the tourist. That is perceptual, no? So look at the situation from the tourist points of view related to how they perceive the quality of the destination, how they perceive yung quality ng destination. Sila ba ay satisfied? Sila ba ay masaya? What are their feelings? Okay, so that is, you need to know the situation. You need to assess the perceptual carrying capacity. Another one, social or socio-cultural carrying capacity focuses on the social and cultural changes due to uh, tourism increase. Okay? So ito, what will be the socio-cultural changes dahil po sa nangyayaring tourism increase dun sa lugar based dun sa arrival. Ito ba, nakakaapekto ba yung dami ng tao, especially the mass tourism, to the quality of experience doon sa mga heritage like or culture, or nakakaapekto ba to sa kultura? Nakakaapekto ba to sa kultura ng mga ng community that is under socio-cultural carrying capacity? So yung dami ng tao ba yun, kung accepted ba yung dami ng tao na yun para po hindi po magkaroon ng negative impact sa socio-cultural. Economic cultural capacity, so the destination possibility to cater the demand without crowding out other local economic activities, that is economic CC. So kumbaga, to cater the demand of the tourists without crowding or overcrowding or crowding out na hindi makakapekto po sa local economic activities because sa dami ng tao. So that is economic CC. The destination possibility to cater yung highest demand ng tourists doon sa destination na hindi makakaistorbo or makakasira po sa local economic activities. That is economic CC. And then the political or administrative CC concerned with how the local political and administrative bodies can cope with tourism and to what extent it is needed to put limits on tourism inflow. So that is political carrying capacity. So paano nako-cope up po ng administrative bodies or based on their law yung total limit ng tao dun sa destination o yung dami ng tao dun sa destination. Ano yung kanilang magiging actions, ano yung kanilang magiging, paano nila mako-cope up yun, paano nila ma-handle yung ganung situation. That is political or administrative CC. So next one, let's discuss the another tools for tourism impact assessment, and it's one of the best toolkit for sustainable destination. It is known as ETIS, or known as the European Tourism Indicator System, which is created by the European Commission. So what is the European Tourism Indicator System? Actually, it is a European-wide comparable system. So it is created by the European Commission. So actually, malawak po itong sistemang ito, napakalawak ng system na ito. Kasi pagkakalam ko kasi, when you talk about ETIS, meron siyang 27 core indicators and 40 optional indicators. So, ibig sabihin, ganun kadami yung kanyang indicators. 27 core indicators and 40 optional indicators. So, actually, nagsimula ito noong 2013 with them helping the destination to monitor and measure their sustainable tourism performance by using a common comparable approach. Actually, ang European Tourism Indicator System is a voluntary management tool. Its monitoring results are based on self-assessment, observations, data collection, and analysis by the destination themselves. ETIS does not set minimum values to be achieved, and it does not provide any certification. Alright, so actually, pag sinabi mong European Tourism Indicator System, it is a more intelligent approach to sustainable tourism planning. Kasi nga, sa dami ng core indicators na to, talagang mas malawak, no? Mas malawak ang approach na to compared dun sa planning. Kasi talagang matindi ang pagka-arrange ng European Tourism Indicator System. Actually, it is a management system simple to use and flexible, which help tourist destination to measure, monitor their sustainable tourism performance. So it is used for managing the tourism system in the destination, for especially in measuring, no, measuring the impacts of the destination, as well to monitor, no, to monitor their sustainable tourism performance. Kamusta ba yung sustainable tourism performance ng destination, kung ito ba ay may maintain ba or nasusustain hanggang sa future generation. So that is part. Kasi pag sinabi mong ETS, mas simple ito. It is more simple to use and napaka-flexible ito dahil nga sa dami ng indicators. And also, ang ETIS is an informational tool which is useful for policymakers, tourism enterprises, stakeholders. So, makikinabang dito, at ito ay napaka-useful po ito, especially sa mga policymakers, tourism enterprises, at sa mga different stakeholders. And of course, by creating vision and guidance for sustainable tourism development. Okay? Informational tools ito para mas maging maganda yung pagbuo ng vision and guidelines, lalo-lalo na doon sa isang destination para makabuo ng mas magandang guide in for sustainable tourism development. And also, ETIS is a framework for benchmarking, communication, and good practice. So actually, the ETIS for sustainable destination, when it started, so this it is launched in a public conference on February 22, 2013, together with a toolkit guideline. So during the public conference noong 2013, noong February 22, no? And nagkaroon dito ng mga naging toolkit ito, or pag sinabi mong toolkit, guidelines ito. And it is available in all European Union languages on the Commission website. So available ito in different EU languages like Italian, Spanish, English. The main objective, ETIS aims at facilitating the efforts of those tourism stakeholders who are committed to ensure sustainable management of their destination by providing them with an easy-to-use toolkit. So, ang aims ng ETIS para mas maging magandang effort ng mga different stakeholders, mas mapaganda po ang pagpaplano, pagde-develop ng destination, and of course, in sustaining the destination by applying this toolkit, no, this ETIS. Right? So, European Tourism Indicator System, it is also a tool for monitoring, managing, enhancing tourism destination sustainability. So, itong maganda rin tool na para gamitin po for sustainable destination, or for sustaining sustainable management of the certain destination by monitoring or managing. So actually, may mga sections siya, or that is called title, and then meron siyang criteria, core indicator, option indicator. So first section is destination management, which is composed of sustainable tourism public policy. So actually, ang kanyang core indicator, percentage of the destination with a sustainable tourism strategy, action plan with agreed monitoring, development, control, and evaluation. Arrangement 2, as you can see in the core indicators, chine-check yung percentage ng destination with sustainable strategy and action plan. So, yun yung sa under na sustainable tourism public policy. Ang optional indicator na ito is to know the percentage of residents satisfied with the involvement and their influence in the planning development of tourism office, as well as percentage of the destination represented by destination management organization, or DMO. Okay. Another one, another criteria. So that's the first criteria. Another criteria is sustainable tourism management in tourism enterprises. So this criteria have the core indicators by assessing the percentage of tourism enterprise establishment in the destination using voluntary verified certification, labeling for environmental, quality, sustainability, or CSR. Okay? So ito, to assess the different tourism enterprise or establishment, no, to identify kung may mga certification ba sila, may mga labeling for environment, may quality ba, and so on. So that is based on the tourism enterprise. Optional niya to determine the number of tourism enterprise with sustainability report in accordance with the global reporting initiatives. Okay? So to know the number based on the GRI. Okay? With accordance of the GRI. And then next one, based on the criteria, next criteria is customer satisfaction. Siyempre, to determine, no, yung percentage of visitors that are satisfied with their overall experience in the destination. So, to determine the total number of visitors, yung percentage na visitors na satisfied po sa kanilang overall experience in visiting the destination. And of course, optional po, yung percentage of repeat or return, yung pag-repeat ng visit or return within 5 years. Next one, kamusta naman yung information communication? That's another criteria to determine the percentage who note that they are aware of destination sustainability efforts. So, kumbaga, dito chine-check kung yung mga tao ba ay napaka-responsible by to have the awareness regarding the destination sustainability efforts. Another one, the optional is percentage of businesses that communicate their sustainability efforts to visitors in their product marketing or branding. Another section, economic value, with the criteria of tourism flow, tourism enterprise performance, quantity and quality of employment, safety and health, and tourism supply chain. Okay, so syempre sa tourism flow, that is the volume and value at destination to know the number of tourist nights per month. Yung numbers of tourist nights per month. Sa isang buwan, chine-check yung number of tourist nights per month. Kung ilan po per night. Yung stay ba nila, kung ilang beses ba, or ilang, sa isang buwan ba, ilang tourist ang nag-i-stay per night. Okay, per night So another one, relative contribution of tourism to the destination economy. Number two, same-day visitors po ang check in high season and low season. And three, daily spending per same-day visitor. So, chine-check din yung gastos po or tourist expenditure ng mga excursionist. That is same-day visitor or excursionist. Another one, tourism enterprises performance. So, to determine the average length of stay of tourists. No, the length of stay of tourists, ibig sabihin length of stay per night yun, ilang nights sila nag-stay doon sa certain accommodation. Okay? So another one, optional indicators, average length of stay of same-day visitors by hour, especially for same-day visitors, or percentage of 10 largest tourism enterprises involved in destination management or cooperative marketing. And also, another criteria here under tourism enterprises performance, yung occupancy rate, no? Yung occupancy rate in commercial accommodation per month and average for the year. So, yung occupancy rate po, o yung rate po na na-avail po ng tourist or yung rate din ng mga tourism enterprises po na ino-offer po sa tourists per month. And of course, to determine the average for the year. And then, average price per room in the destination. Average price per room in every destination. That's optional. Another one, to determine the quantity and quality of employment. So, to have the direct tourism employment as percentage of total employment. Direct tourism employed, yung total na employed ng tourism, as well as yung percentage of total employment by tourism. And then, optional, percentage of jobs in tourism that are seasonal. Number two, percentage of tourism enterprise providing student internship. For safety and health, percentage of tourism enterprises inspected for fire safety in the last year. Next one, percentage of tourists who register a complaint with the police. So yung unang chine-check po, yung core indicator na safety and health, yung ini-inspect po yung inspection po ng fire safety in the last years. Kamusta naman yung percentage noon? Or optional, yung percentage of tourists who register a complaint with the police. Yung mga total number of person na nag-complain, no? Or based on their experience. Tourism supply chain, that's another criteria. The core indicator, percentage of tourism enterprises actively taking steps to source local, sustainable, and fair trade goods and services. So, yun yung chine-check po. In another one, for optional, percentage of the destination covered by policy promoting local, sustainable, and or fair travel products, trade products, and services. Number two, percentages of tourism enterprise sourcing a minimum of 25% of food and drink from local regional producers. For social and cultural impacts, yung ano naman ito, criteria, community or social impact, gender equality, equality accessibility, protect and enhancing cultural heritage or local identity and assets. So, for community social impact, so ang dinidetermine naman dito, yung number of tourists per visitors per 100, or I mean number of tourists or visitors per 100 residents. And then another one, the optional is percentage of residents who are satisfied with tourism destination per month per season. Number two, number of beds available in commercial visitor accommodation per 100 residents. Three, number of second rental homes per 100 homes. Next one, gender equality, percentage of men and women employed in the tourism sector. That is kung ilan po yung na-employed na men and women in different tourism sector. Optional, percentage of tourism enterprises where the general manager position is held by a woman. Number two, average wage in tourism for woman compared to average wage per men, sorted by tourism job type. Equality and accessibility, so ang chine-check naman dito or ina-assess yung percentage of commercial accommodation with rooms accessible to people with disabilities and or participating in recognized accessibility schemes. Yung optional naman nito ay percentage of destinations served by public transport that is accessible to people with disabilities and people with specific access requirements. Another one, percentage of visitor attraction that are accessible to people with disabilities and or participating in recognized accessibility schemes. Yung optional nito, percentage of visitors satisfied with accessibility of the destination for those with disabilities or specific access requirements. Next is protecting and enhancing cultural heritage, local identity, and assets. So that is criteria to determine the percentage of the destination covered by a policy or plan that protects cultural heritage. For optional, protects percentage of residents who have positive or negative views on the impact of tourism on destination identity. And another percentage to assess is the destination biggest event that are focused on traditional local culture and assets. For environmental impact assessment, the criteria for assessment based on ETIS is reducing transport impacts, climate change, solid waste management, sewage treatment, water management, energy usage, landscape and biodiversity protection, light and noise management, and bathing water quality. Okay, for reducing transport impact, so to determine the percentage of tourists and same-day visitors using different modes of transport to arrive at the destination, public or private, and type. For optional, percentage of visitors using local soft mobility, public transport service to get around the destination. Another one for reducing transport impact, average travel by kilometer by tourists to and from home or average travel from the previous destination to the current destination. And then the average travel by same day visitors from their places and of origin to the destinations and back. For climate change criteria, percentage of tourism enterprises involved in climate change mitigation schemes such as carbon dioxide offset, low energy system, etc., and adaptation responses and action. For optional indicators, percentage of the destination included in climate change, adaptation strategy or planning. In number two, percentage tourism accommodation and attraction infrastructure located in vulnerable zones. For next one, by solid waste management, waste volume produced by destination. So that is tons per resident per year or per month. Yung optional naman po is percentage of tourism enterprises separating different types of waste. Another one here, volume waste recycled percent or per resident per year. Sewage treatment, percentage of sewage from the destination treated to at least secondary level prior to discharge. Percentage of commercial accommodation connected to central sewage and or employing tertiary sewage treatment. That is for sewage treatment po, that is another criterion. Okay, for water management, the core indicator is to determine the freshwater consumption per tourist night compared to general population water consumption per person night. So yung optional nito, percentage of tourism enterprise with low flow shower heads and taps and or dual flush toilets, waterless urinals. Number two, percentage of tourism enterprises using recycled water. Another one here, energy usage. So, I by the way, I forgot. Another optional is percentage of water use derived from recycled water in the destination. Next criteria is energy usage to determine the energy consumption per tourist night compared to general population energy consumption per person night. So, yung optional nito to determine the percentage of tourism enterprise that have switched to low energy lighting. Another one, annual amount of energy consumed from renewable source as a percentage of overall energy consumption. And then the criteria based on landscape and biodiversity protection to determine the percentage of destination that is designated for protection. Yung optional naman nito, percentage of local enterprises in the tourism sector actively supporting protection, conservation, and management of local biodiversity and landscape. And another optional here is percentage of destination covered by biodiversity management and monitoring plan. For light and noise management, the destination has policy in places that require tourism enterprises to minimize light and noise pollution. Yung optional naman is percentage of the destination, percentage of population covered by local strategy and or plans to reduce noise and light pollution. For bathing water quality, level of contamination per 100 milliliter fecal coliforms Campylobacter. And then the optional number of days beach shore closed due to contamination. Okay, so for core indicators under destination market management core indicators, these are under core indicators based on the ETIS, no? Or European Tourism Indicator System, which is the Sustainable Tourism Public Policy, Sustainable Tourism Management, Tourism Enterprise, Customer Satisfaction, and Information Communications. There are five indicate. No, sorry. There are four indicators in this subject, no? For economic volume core indicators, there are only five, which is tourism flow at destination, tourism enterprises performance, quantity and quality of employment, safety and health, tourism supply chain. Under social and cultural impacts coordinator, so there are only four: community social impact as measured by the visitor to resident ratio, gender equality as measured by the ratio between men and women in the tourism labor force, accessibility per person with disability, and protecting and enhancing cultural heritage, local identity, and assets. Okay, for environmental impact or indicator, so there are only nine core indicators under environmental impact or core indicator. So these are reducing transport impact, tourism impact on climate change, solid waste management, sewage treatment, waste management, energy use, landscape and biodiversity protection, light and noise management, and bathing water quality. So according another tools for tourism impact assessment na pwede ring gamitin for assessing the sustainable development of the destination or the tourism impact of the certain destination is the BCG or Boston Consulting Group Sustainable Economic Development Assessment, or also known as SEDA, no, CG SEDA. Boston Consulting Groups or SEDA, which is stand for Sustainable Economic Development Assessment. So from the word itself, more on focusing ito sa social and economic development or more on economic development. So these are the dimension, no, based on BCG, SEDA. These are the dimension of social and economic development. These are income or wealth, level of employment, income equality, income stability, health of the population, education, governance, environmental stewardship, infrastructure, and civil society. So based on the SEDA scores in the ASEAN member or Association of Southeast Asian Nation, ito po yung mga country, ito yung mga wealth to well-being coefficient. So ang pinaka highest po is Vietnam with 1.56, no. And then yung pinaka lowest is Singapore. So with total number average 1.25. And then growth to well-being coefficient naman, ang pinaka highest po is Cambodia And then the lowest is 0.87, which is Malaysia. And yung total average lot dyan is 1.11. So that is yun yung SEDA scores ng ASEAN member. So this is BCG, the Boston Consulting Group. So by Douglas Bale of BCG Dubai, or one of the author of the SEDA Sustainable Economic Development Assessment. Another one, sustainable livelihood approach. So focusing to the sustainable livelihood of the certain destination. So dito po papasok yung analyzation ng impacts of tourism development on a community in terms of its contribution to building capacities, assets such as the natural, economic, or financial, human, and social capital, and activities required for a means of living. So that is SL, or Sustainable Livelihood Approach. It also analyzes the tourism impacts on creating sustainable livelihood, that is the ability of livelihood to cope with the recover from stresses, shocks, and maintain or enhance its capabilities and assets while preserving the natural resource base. So magandang gamitin tong approach na to for sustainable economic development of the certain destination to determine the livelihood of the or ano yung pwedeng maging livelihood po para po makarecover po against sa mga against sa stresses po or yung mga disaster. Ang stresses kasi ito yung parang parang negative dun sa destination eh. Yung shocks, ito yung mga disasters, no? Na pwede pong ikabagsak ng destination kung hindi po ito masosolve or mabibigyan ng solution. So this is the best solution for to have the economic activities in a certain area or mga tourism activities na may kinalaman po sa pagpapaunlad ng ekonomiya ng isang destination. That is sustainable livelihood approach. So, sustainable livelihood approach, it measures outcomes in terms of the following indicators: increase in income, increase well-being, reduce vulnerability, improve food security, and more sustainable use of natural resource base. That is sustainable livelihood approach. So another one for assessing the tourism impact assessment, that is Philippine Environmental Impact Assessment System. So the best tool for to address the negative impact in terms of pollution, in terms of environmental degradation, or in terms of negative impacts in environment. So actually the EIA, which is used by the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, it is a process that involves predicting and evaluating the likely impacts of the projects, including cumulative impacts on the environment during construction, commissioning, operation, and abandonment. So kumbaga, ina-assess neto yung magiging impacts ng mga different projects or mga constructions po na makaka-apekto po sa kalikasan or sa environment. It also includes designing appropriate preventing, mitigating, enhancement measure, address the consequences to protect the environment and the community welfare. Especially, dinidesign ito or it helps for the prevention of the protected areas ng isang particular destination. So EIA is mandated by law under Presidential Decree number 1586, no, which established an environmental impact statement system, including other environmental management related measures and other purposes. That is under EIA. Actually, ginagamit ito ng DENR, Department of Environment and Natural Resources. So, initial environmental examination is required for projects of the following nature, like building, batching and crushing plant, cemetery, funeral parlors, crematorium, fishery, aquaculture, food and food byproducts, irrigation and flood control, non-food manufacturing plant, water supply and resort, and other tourism or leisure. So ito yung mga projects na kailangan po ng initial environmental examination. Baka ito kasi ay magkaroon po ng epekto po sa environment. So it is important po na magkaroon muna ng initial environmental examination to assess the negative impacts of these particular projects. Possible environmental and social impacts of projects included potential impacts for projects are: number one, consistency with the use. Yung included po nito ay residential, commercial, institutional, industrial, agricultural, recreation, protected areas. So, consistency with the use para po maprotektahan yung protected areas po or yung iba pang mga proyekto. So, consistency with the use. Two, disturbance to wildlife due to the vegetation clearing. So, kailangan po maiwasan po ito para mas uh, ano po, kailangan maging balance po yung vegetation clearing po at like forest land or marshland po, grassland, mangrove, and wetland. So, dapat po mapangalaga na maigi yan to avoid the disturbance of wildlife. Then, change in surface landscape topography, terrain slopes, no? So, yun yung ina-assess po, no, na under ng EIA kung nagkakaroon po ng changing po ba sa landforms, topography, or any topography surface po, surface landforms, no? Then, soil erosion, kung ozone prone ba or not. And then, soil land contamination due to the improper disposal of solid waste. Okay, so ito po yung mga possible environmental impacts and social impacts of projects, including potential impacts for projects na kailangan po na ma-assess ng maigi. Another one, ito pa, impairment of visual aesthetics, presence of visually significant landforms, landscape or structures, devaluation of land values, increased siltation due to project activities, water quality degradation, competition in water use, depletion of water resources, increased occurrence of flooding, air quality degradation, nuisance due to noise generation, displacement of residents in the project site and within its vicinity. Another one here, displacement of indigenous people, enhancement employment and or livelihood opportunities, reduce employment and or livelihood opportunities, increase revenues for LGU, disruption, competition in delivery of public services, enhanced delivery of public service, increase in traffic volume and worsening of traffic flow, impacts on community health and safety. Other impact assessment framework. So that is under ng UNWTO, which is implemented noong 1996. And UNWTO po, nag-enumerated po ng mga core indicators of sustainable tourism development such as the site protection by stress, use intensity, social impact, development control, waste management, planning process, critical ecosystem, consumer satisfaction, and local satisfaction. So these are the additional core indicators for sustainable tourism development. So these are indicators that can be used for assessing the tourism impact of tourism development to avoid the negative impacts and to sustain the positive impacts of the certain destination. So ito pa, under economic indicators po na makakatulong po for assessing the tourism impact, especially the economic indicators which is composed of tourism revenues, average tourist expenditures, taxes from tourists, number of registered tourism-related businesses, inflation price index in tourism areas, occupancy rates of hotels and resort, load factors of transportation units, percentage of share to tourism in relation to other industries, tourism employment, average monthly wage of tourism industry workers, visitation satisfaction index provided by customer feedback. And then the environmental indicators, under environmental indicators, infrastructure to manage and minimize solid and liquid waste, water quality index, air quality index, percent of population exposed to pollution, again, percentage of population exposed to pollution, amount of water consumed and percentage of leakage, amount fossil fuels use, speed of motor vehicles during rush hour, amount of packaging purchased with supplies, adherence to codes of behavior that respect natural heritage, compliance with best practices guidelines in designing, planning, and constructions of buildings. And another one, adaptation of technologies that reduce consumption of natural resources, reduce waste and pollution such as solar power, use of local materials and local architecture that do not destroy aesthetic values, extent of use of soap transport such as cycle routes and walking trails, use of sustainable trails, hides and interpretation, use of sustainable souvenirs, those not made from parts of endangered animal and plant species, use of biodegradable soaps and detergents, park fees used to manage habitats and species, percentage of profits invested in nature conservation, average annual frequency and severity of natural disaster. All right, so that's it. So that's it. That's it. Oh, this is all about the tourism impact assessment. So if you have any question, don't hesitate to ask me. All right. So that's all for today. So God bless everyone. Okay. See you for my next lecture video. Okay. God bless everyone. Goodbye.